Thank you for joining us for this series on the Heroine's Quest, How to Heed the Call to Adventure. Thank you to our guest, Shawn Pearson-Dingle, author of Still Here, Still Becoming. So we're going to dive right in. This is a lesson that I have created for a course called Heed the Call to Adventure, How to Write Your Own Heroine's Quest. This is the course from which I'm taking this exercise. Shawn and I worked on a tool from the Heroine's Quest course, which is called the Heroine's Quest Mapping Exercise, and it's a writing prompt. And I'm just going to share that with you, and then Shawn is going to share her answers. You can use this to help you to see your life as a heroine's journey. There are questions around each stage. So I also recommend that you come up with a name for your heroine or your alter ego. Shawn, in another video, we can talk about how you chose that name. Right now, I want to hear the answers to these questions. So for you, what was the ordinary world? What did it look like to you before you experienced the event that propelled you out of that?
So at the time, the ordinary world for me was quite busy. At the time, I was a single mother. I had a very hectic schedule, work-life balance as a mom and supporting my family, and then also an entrepreneur as well. So I stayed pretty busy during this time of my life, very fulfilled and just going forward and excited about the future.
Yeah, yeah. So in the next stage is when the event occurs, the call to adventure. In your case, this call was, like for a lot of people, the call was a tragedy. It was a loss.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that was for you?
Mhm. So ultimately, it was a regular day. I had been to work, home with my daughter, and the police came and arrived and told me that my son had passed away. He was no longer with us. So at that time, it was definitely devastating, somewhat of an outer body experience for sure. And just I was numb at that time and just couldn't process what these men were telling me uh, about my child no longer being with me.
Yeah.
But I was definitely thrust into a different state at that
Yeah.
point.
And you and I had talked about how for you, after that initial event, you didn't go, it wasn't like right from there out into the rest of the quest because it was such a devastating loss. So can you tell us a little bit about where you spent time after that before you were able to leave again and go on the rest of your journey?
Sure. So I spent quite a bit of time in survival mode, um, just day to day. I think I knew just ultimately every day get up. I still had a school age child at that point. So, continuing to ensure that, she was nourished, taking to school every day, but definitely very much a bit of a blur. I think it was the first maybe 10 months I could not speak. Um, it took me difficulty to just explain myself or talk in any capacity. Anytime anyone spoke to me or required me to share any information, I would cry. I did that for about 10 months. I recall it was a very long time. And then ultimately, I stayed in this survival mode for about 3.5 years.
I just want to interject for a moment because I want to make it clear that in real life, it's not like books and movies where things are condensed into 2 hours or what have you, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes people think they're spending too much time in one place or one stage. But from our conversations, I know that that cave that you went into, that
Sure.
really was was where you needed to be. I mean,
Yes.
there was not a choice necessarily. It was
Mhm.
real life, right? That's where you were.
Mhm.
Now, so in a way, you experienced the tragic loss of your son.
Sure.
Then you experienced another call from within that cave. Can you tell us what that call was and when it came?
The days, the time, months, and years were passing. At
Yeah,
this point, I realized if I did not begin the process of healing, I would die in the cave ultimately.
right. So you were in the cave, you were just surviving, but there came a point at which you experienced another pull. That pull was, I want to live, sounds like,
Yes.
right? If
Yes.
I stay here, I'm going to die.
Sure.
And so, in recognizing that, you heeded the call to healing and you heeded the call to life. Thank you for joining us for this series on the Heroine's Quest, How to Heed the Call to Adventure. Thank you to our guest, Shawn Pearson-Dingle, author of Still Here, Still Becoming. And if you want to learn more about Vision Quest Retreats, you can follow on my website, which is visionquestretreats.com. I have a blog there where I post a lot of tips and tools. I'm here on YouTube, so please subscribe and follow for more content.